We are not scared. We will go on with this committee and we will come out publicly with our reports and recommendations. Nobody will blackmail any member of this committee, and I will keep quiet as the chairman of the committee. People, the rectors of the federal polytechnics are here. To the best of our ability, we conduct our sitting openly. This is the first time they are invited to the National Assembly. You have had their testimony. We ourselves are writing to investigating agency to investigate this matter. Because you cannot blackmail one of us or all of us by terming this committee a corrupt committee, simply because we are discovering irregularities, fraud between agencies of government that is being done with taxpayers' money. And people think you can come up with something that will scare me as a chairman of this committee and members of this committee. It is not possible. So it's good you are giving this testimony for Nigerians to know that this is the first time we are interacting with the rectors of Federal Polytechnic, but a report is out there challenging members of this committee, even if it is one person, that we have interacted with you, the rectors of Federal Polytechnics, an account had been given to you by some members of this committee for you to donate money so that you will be given soft landing. This is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. Yusuf Gagdi doesn't have cap to receive dollars. So also the members of my committee. You cannot get us. People that think they can threaten the discovery that we are getting as a result of the activities of this committee to blackmail members of this committee, I think they are in the wrong committee, they are in the wrong place. I know the accusation is not on me, but again, as the leader and chairman of this committee, I will protect my members unless and until I am proven otherwise by clear evidence of corruption and involvement by that member. And even if there is, you cannot put that at the face of the entire members of this committee by publicizing our number, our names to the media and calling us all sorts of names. This is unacceptable to us. The report was that Federal Polytechnics rectors were given an account number by a member of this committee to contribute money in it, and committee members were termed as corrupt committee. We have never invited you today. To the best of my ability, I'm under oath as a representative of the Nigerian people that we are interfacing with you. So, can you tell this committee in clear terms your relationship with any member of this committee regarding to an account number that you have read in the media given to you by a member of this committee to pay in money? Respond to that, please.
Under oath, the Committee of Federal Rectors is not in receipt of any account number or account name by any member of this committee sitting today. Today, being 31st of August, is the day we are even sitting on behalf of this committee. So I will say it under oath that we have not received any account number from any member of this committee. That is it, sir.
Have you ever appeared before this committee prior to this time?
No. Today is 31st. This is the first day we are even coming to the committee.
Thank you. But again, I have said it clearly that we have written to ICPC to investigate relationship between that account with you, the rectors of the Federal Polytechnics, whether there should have ever been any transaction between the rectors of Federal Polytechnic and that account. Should there be any trace of evidence, would you be held responsible for this testimony you are giving?
Yes, the rector of that institution will be held responsible.
Is there any rector that have anything to say to prove the testimony by your chairman wrong, that you have never appeared before this committee and you have never received any account number according to him to pay money in, and you have never paid money in that account? Is there any rector out of the 24 of you that have a contrary position? Is there any rector that have something to say regarding to this matter? You are raising up your hand.
The chairman, I am only affirming what our chairman said. Some of us were even aware to appear before this committee today, just 2 days back.
Thank you. Now let me say this. A legal action against anybody that attempt to blackmail us.
The COFA will support that. Thank you. First of all, we would like to appreciate this committee for solving a long-term problem in so many polytechnics in Nigeria. We are academic, and our problem is a problem always starts when we don't have enough sufficient and qualified members of staff. I therefore want to appreciate this committee for this work, because it's going to solve most of the bottlenecks we have in the polytechnics. It is true some polytechnics did recruit, but certainly they can't recruit without any waiver. Some polytechnics did not recruit within the time under review. Therefore, our recruitment will always go in line with the requirement of the law for us to have accredited programs as required by the MBT. Where recruitments were done, you realize that most of the recruitments were done to fill in gaps that are required for teaching and learning, which is the main target of the polytechnics. I would also like to solicit this committee to help in solving this problem that may lead to total collapse of the TVET section. Polytechnics are different from the universities. We have peculiarities in terms of technology-based trainings. The kind of staff we require to operate certain machines in workshops and laboratories will only be functional if we have that qualified staff. Now, in a situation where the staff is either exiting or is dead, you are going to be left with a vacuum that will affect the entire program, and then in turn, affect the entire nation. So therefore, there might be need for them to recruit. But I assure this committee that no polytechnic will have recruited without obtaining waiver from the Office of the Federal Civil Service, head of service. Our only major problem sometimes is the time it takes to get the waiver and the time it takes to get the finances to recruit this staff. So it is in line with this that I would like to ask this committee to please help us in solving this problem, because without such, most of these TVET institutions will run dry and will not be able to deliver what is expected of us. The second thing is about budgetary implementations. Sometimes we have budgets that will not be able to accommodate the number of staff, especially academic staff, that will be required to run a particular program. Or there will be not enough funding to pay up peculiar allowances, which up to now, more than 80% of the polytechnics are still having such issues. Peculiar allowances, salary shortfalls for so many years. So it is against this background that we ask this committee to please come to the rescue of the polytechnics to allow us waiver to recruit people who are needed, for the TVET section. Any institution that have recruited so far between the time under review will have done so with a clear waiver from the Federal Service. And they should have had enough money to pay them salaries, otherwise they will not be able to employ. Thank you very much, Chairman. I wish this request will be granted.
Well, first, again, we in our agreement as a committee that we will not be guided by some few media report not to do our job correctly. We should be guided by that. We have resolved to be careful in handling health institutions and education institutions. You need to speak to this committee, because if we are talking about federal character like we did yesterday to CMDs of university teaching hospitals and other national hospitals, their location is a problem. If a polytechnic exists in Borno, Maiduguri, how is it convenient for someone from Akwa Ibom or Anambra to go and serve there if given him the opportunity? So the insecurity affecting this country, it is affecting how our health and educational institutions are functioning. And this, the primary purpose of this committee, just like the primary purpose of government, is for the welfare and the security of its own citizen. So any other thing is secondary. And as parliament, our responsibility is to make laws first for peace. That is what constitutions say. Second for order, and third for good governance. So if we are here to investigate and we invite CMDs of our own medical institutions and head of tertiary institutions like you, we should be mindful of the fact that if a polytechnic exists in Zamfara, where you have enough cases of insecurity in the form of banditry, how can you even recruit people in Zamfara to occupy those vacancies? So, dealing with you, people should know, journalists should know that it is unique. We cannot be creating problem in the name of solving problem. And that is why our interaction with health institutions and academic institutions, the strategy is not the same with agencies that are situated in a well-secured environment like Abuja, like Lagos, like what have you. So I say this for the purpose of understanding. That's why we treat you as one entity. So if there are, although we know, in as much as there are insecurity problem that is making it difficult for you to function in balancing spreads of recruitment and positions that are either advertised or were collected by the so-called waiver, it is difficult for us to have the balance. So we want to know, in addition to this, we recognize the fact that if a school is situated in Zamfara, where it is difficult for someone to go to Kano, situated in Kano, where it's difficult for someone to go to Maiduguri and serve, even within the area that people are secured, some leaders and head of institutions take advantage of that to appoint their blue-blooded to cover those areas. Our technical secretariats through our clerk have x-rayed that. We have all areas where there are defects and deficiency going forward where we can correct. But you have not convinced us as to the other aspect of locations. Is there any relative problems you are facing in terms of your decline? Are your staff being increased? Because in the study of 6 federal polytechnics that we did yesterday with the technical team, the clerks, they are not outsiders, they are staffs of the National Assembly. We discovered that there are universities that in a department you have 1 or 2. So justify those, speak to us here so that members will take you on that, please.
Mr. Chairman, in as much as I would like to speak on behalf of all the federal rectors, specific issues like retirement and so on. So it will not be the same as, for example, University of Lagos State Polytechnic or any polytechnic within an environment where there is no insecurity. In as much as I would like to take all my people together, specific issues like this I cannot decide for others because it's the scenarios, yeah? Yes. So with all the insecurity, I will be bold to tell you, maybe my institution is the only true federal polytechnic in Nigeria. I have staff and students from almost every state except one, I think. That is before the insecurity. Now with the insecurity, even students in Zamfara state find it difficult to go there. Talk less of getting students from all over this nation. So our need here is to get waiver to recruit staff to replace the ones that exited and the ones that died, and either natural or through banditry. We have not less than 200 requirements of employment.
Is it in your polytechnics that we saw a report in Zamfara, you say?
Yes.
Do you have anything technical equipment that is manned by, is it one person or so that we saw in the report?
Technical
department that you have machine. I saw in the report of one polytechnics.
It's in my department, actually. I'm from mechanical engineering department. We have machines worth over 7 billion. Workshop. I think in the whole northern Nigeria, you may not find a workshop that is as equipped as that. We have lost almost everybody, technical person that teach students. The only one we have will be retiring. So this is why I said, in as much as I want to carry along all my staff, I mean all my members, there are specifics that have to be spoken one by one. So if the committee requires that, okay. This is need. If it requires, writing individual needs for every polytechnic, we can do that.
Now, we have our own report too.
Yes.
Like advocated by CMDs yesterday.
Yes.
It is difficult for educationally related institutions and health to get professionals to do that.
Yeah.
But waiver have been abused even by rectors of polytechnics, even in the report we have, where the few that we are giving slot to recruit have abused the process by giving. Going forward, should National Assembly recommend that you have to change other state based on the summary of our report, and if opportunity is given to you to recruit, would you try, in as much as you want to balance the issue of insecurity, people may not want to come and serve where there are insecurity. This question is to all of you.
Yes.
Would you be able to accommodate trying to correct the wrongs that is existing in all our polytechnics, federal for instance, where you have some state church tent, even within the south, the north and the east, the south, the 6 geopolitical zone. Anywhere you see polytechnics, it favors the people from those geopolitical zones.
Right.
But in appointment, it is only junior staffs, level 1 to 6, that are meant for the people from the catchment area. Yeah. All the senior from 7 to 15, 16, the catchment area is 36 states of the Federation, including the FCT Abuja.
Right.
What will be your take should this committee decide to tie your hand to any future recruitment? Make sure those imbalances are addressed, 1. 2, this one is not an option. Without waiver, and if you are to recruit without waiver, it means you cannot do it in a cover. You will do it open for the son of nobody to know you are recruiting and to be able to have the opportunity to be advertised. Will you be fair to the son of nobody? 1. 2, would you ensure that principle of federal character is upheld in your future recruitment? After you answer, I will yield the floor to members to...
Okay, Mr. Chairman, someone with less than lower class, you cannot employ him in academic. You cannot employ him as a teaching staff. We have our own standard. For non-teaching staff, yes, you can recruit somebody, but not with pass, unless if he has higher degree. So, yes, if we are given the chance, I am very sure the Federal Character Commission, Federal Character pattern can be adopted, so long as the academic staff looking for academic jobs are qualified for that. We have a standard, we have a minimum. Somebody with less than lower cannot teach. So if the number of people who applied has passes and third classes, there is nothing we can do about that. We can't ask them to teach. But we can take them to non-teaching section, who may also have, they must have at least third class, not pass. So that is our only limitation. But without that, if the people who applied are qualified to teach, there's no reason why we cannot do that. We also have a lot of Nigerians, our graduates are also moving the streets. There are some of them who have distinction. We cannot even absorb them. We know how good they are. They have distinction, they have upper, but we graduate them and let them go because there is nothing we can do. So if we can have this waiver, the first thing to do is to absorb those who we know they are very good to teach, but we don't have it. So this is my take, sir.
Members, I'm not good. Some will have something to say. Go ahead, sir.
Advertising the job.
But that's not good for us.
We will not allow
placement. Is, for example, if we have a chief lecturer who earns about 350, for example, his salary can replace other smaller officers of at least 3, 4, 5 people, depending on what position you are going to keep them. But you still need that clearance, because with the IPPIs now, they have to go and they have to go and capture them. So once the chief lecturer, for example, dies or he exits service, He is gone with his IP address. So for you to adopt, to employ others to replace him, they have to be captured, and you need permission to do that. That is why we are having a lot of issues here. And for older polytechnics, so many of them are already exiting, and we don't have any approval to employ.
Chairman, when we were cited the National Board of Technical Education in Kaduna, placement, you don't advertise. Because we asked them, why do you have 10 lecturers, for instance, or 10 staff who did not advertise, did not even tell the committee, did not even tell, that was a committee on tertiary education. And they said they did not tell the committee because they just did replacement in such a way that if somebody died, as you mentioned, what you need to do to replace the person, irrespective of...
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. Before